As the evil Dr. Juggernaut studied his new evil plans for disaster, our top agent, Rod Kimball, approached the target, which held all of the doctor's information. The doctor didn't see him. By Joe, this might work, we thought to ourselves. He had it. Smooth sailing from here. But no, he had disturbed the doctor's horrendous hound. He was never seen again. Narration. It can make the difference between an audience thinking that a SeaWorld trainer is training a dolphin or a terror story where the worker falls into the shark tank. It can make any simple action seem exciting and exotic. So what's so important to know about something that seems so simple and part of our everyday life? I will be giving a summary of what it says about narration writings in Chapter 5 of your Strategies for Successful Writing book. If you ever played a sport by yourself, you have probably used narration. If you played basketball, you might say something like, Birtwistle drives the lane, puts up a last-second shot, and it's good! That's a type of narration, but not the type that will be typically written about. When you do a form of writing in narration, it must have a purpose, just like any other writing, although in most narratives, they don't just state the purpose. Writers of history and biography focus on the motives of the events, the portrayal of lives. Personal narrative focus more on the lessons and the conclusion. Action is the key role for all narratives. You must let the reader see what is going on, like you're combining descriptive writing with your narrative. This excerpt by George Orwell on page 82 does a wonderful job of that. Please pause the video now and go there. One important part of narrative writing is something that many of you already are aware of, and that is different point of views. You have first-person point of view, where one of the participants tells the story, or third-person point of view, in which the storyteller is completely out of the story. You must take into consideration when writing a narrative that you don't give away information that people want hidden. Say, if you narrate an embarrassing story of someone, or maybe even yourself, you might consider changing the names of the people. Or possibly, if someone is with the authorities and help to solve a case, that's interesting. Someone might want to write about that event. If so, they should probably give that person a fake name. When you write a narrative, you can't just jump into your story without telling the audience a little of what's going on. Supply background information and details about the characters that make them who they are. Think of what actions you can describe well and know a lot about. If you own cattle, you might want to consider writing about an event that's cattle related instead of getting rid of a computer virus. It is vital that you figure out your limits on what actions need to be described in your writing and what to leave out. You may have the choices throughout the day to describe when you get up, shower, getting dressed, breakfast, walking to school, etc. But how many of those actions really need to be narrated and described? That is when you truly become a good narrative writer. You can figure out the difference between if I include this or leave it out. After you've written your narrative, you may want to ask yourself these questions while revising. Have I made the point that I intended? Do all the actions relate to the main point? Is my point of view appropriate? Have I considered appropriate ethical issues? I hope you've learned something new about narrative writing with the help of this video, and I hope that it'll benefit you in the future when you have to write a narrative. Thank you for watching, and I hope I didn't bore you too much to death.